Hello, hello. Thank you all so very much for tuning into today's episode of Career Conversations. My name is Unica Walcott, and I am delighted today to have with me Rachelle Salem. She is the Strategic Partnerships Lead at GavinHeath. And that's a really cool way to say she is, leading business development. And GavinHeath is a small woman-owned business out of Colorado that is focused on recruiting and staffing placement. Welcome, Rachelle. So glad to have you.
Hi, Unica. Thank you so much for having me. And I don't know how many people are here or will watch the recap later, but I just am really grateful for this opportunity. And I think it's awesome that you're doing this. So
Well,
thank you for including me.
oh no, thank you so much for being a part of this. I have so many, friends and family that are like trying to figure out like how to make the career pivots and moves and what does that look like. And I was like, she'd be a perfect person to help figure that out as everyone's navigating this crazy landscape.
That's
So
for sure.
yeah. So the first thing I wanted to ask you is like, what does your family think you do when they find out you lead strategic partnerships? What does that mean?
Oh, geez. Well, I'm a single mom with two kids, and my kids know me by now that everywhere I go, I either run into somebody I know or I'm just social. And they think they know what I do for the most part, but they're always like, "Are you always working? Are you always talking to people?" I said, "I'm not always just, this is my job in socializing and helping people find the right roles and companies that are hiring, but it's just part of my nature." They think they know I'm in sales, and they're just like, "Yep, that's my mom."
Everywhere we go, we know people. That's sweet.
Yeah. And then in my background, I used to be at KPMG when I first was out of college and got my first job. And my parents like, "Oh my gosh, you got a new job!" And they thought I worked at a radio station. I'm like, "No, it's a consulting gig."
I get that. They thought KPMG was like call letters for a station.
Yes. So that was pretty funny.
That is like, okay, wait, that's not a big four like accounting firm. Like it's a radio station.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
And
my
even I
God.
didn't know what I was doing. It was like, "Oh, a really good job and a salary. I'll get on an airplane and go, whatever you need me to do." And at that time, I'm like, well, I was that's how I got in IT in the first place,
Oh wow. What an
in
interesting like
consulting.
sort of start.
Yeah, it was a
So
good start. And that was we could go regress. Go ahead on to your next thing. It'll
she
take me
said,
a
look, we
while.
can go all the way back. So what do you actually do as the executive lead for strategic partnerships at Gavin Heath?
So what I do is, again, we're a small women-owned staffing firm, and we focus on mostly like technical placement and IT. But what I do is help find the companies that are looking for talent. And then I have a recruiting team and also other sales folks on my team that help fulfill all those needs and find the talent. So what I do is really hunt new business and really work to find those companies that have the same strategic initiatives, diversity inclusion initiatives, and just that are a good mesh for us, and then bring it all together. And that also means partnering if we can't do it ourselves, with other, whether it be managed service providers or other people in the channel. That's what I do, is help lead that effort.
Okay,
And
well,
it's
so
fun. It's very fun.
hey fur baby.
Oh, Stella, you'll hear her. She's over there. You might see her in a
Sweet.
minute.
Oh, cool. Nice to meet you, Stella.
She's a rescue, and we don't know what she is, but she's awfully cute.
Those are the best kinds of dogs, though. They're like happy to find home.
She's good. She needs her nails clipped again. She's stomped around on these floors, but she
Aww.
needs her manicure too. Penny.
Aww.
But yeah, so we love Denver, and anybody that's out here, feel free to welcome and get to know us and our company.
Oh yeah, no. So that's the case. If you guys want to get in touch with Rachelle, we'll kind of share this early on. This is her email.
Yeah.
Is Rachelle Salem at GavinHeath.com. This is also where you can contact her at the office. This is her phone number.
Yeah, my work cell anytime. And that's whether you're job hunting or what career advice, or you're a company seeking candidates and are growing and want to add additional vendor companies. But I'll say we're the best. We have a really strong recruiting team. But anything you need, I'm glad to even walk you through just some of the things I've been through, because there's no clear-cut path on career success. That's for sure.
Now that is very, very true. And so very true. So this is Rachelle at Gavin Heath. And so you've talked a little bit about what you actually do and how your children said you can't go anywhere without like meeting somebody or encountering somebody you already know. So what is like the day in the life as a strategic lead of strategic partnerships? Like what does your typical day look like?
A typical day is trying to stay focused on the accounts you already have and making sure you're delivering. But also, like for me, for me personally, it's typically I arrange my week and the accounts that I'm getting close to building an MSA or a partnership with, and getting your contracts going. How you further build that, making sure it's successful and that we're doing what we need to do, and still following up. But the networking kind of things, and going to new events that bring not only to Denver but nationally, um, things to IT, and making sure that I'm learning and growing just along with everybody else, because there's just so many changes. So one minute you blink and then there's a new technology, or people are looking for a new skill. And so part of that is refreshing myself, making sure I'm educating myself, attending, even if it's a lot online, and attending networking. We had startup week in Denver, and so this past week has been really fun, really really fun.
So what was your favorite part of startup week?
What?
What was your favorite part of startup week?
I think the kickoff was really cool. There was a breakfast and it was outdoors, and I thought they had a stage. It was really well presented. And then there were cranes in the background that were making all this noise when the panelists got up there. And I thought it was funny because it really, showed how much Denver's growing, and that, the noise in the background didn't bother anybody. So that was fun. And then there was a job event fair on Wednesday, this past Wednesday evening, and it was packed and full of vibrant companies and those hiring, as well as candidates that were looking for a new position. It was super fun, and open bar, and well, never, needs
No,
to
that
be
sounds like
more. It was super fun.
yeah, no, but I'm just thinking to myself, like in the times of like in challenges of COVID, I think it's really, really innovative that they decided, okay, we're going to do this outdoors. It's going to be a brunch. Like, I think that's really cool and really smart. I wonder how many people have taken that approach, if that's something you've seen a lot.
Yeah, there's a mix, it's but that was a really fun thing. And then back to your day to day, I think some of it is just helping others too. It's not like my job is just I'm there to sell. I also want to make sure that I keep my relationships are super strong. They go back 20 years. I mean, some a long, long time since I've been in it. And there's a lot of job changes right now. So part of my day is helping others. I get phone calls like, what should I do next? And I help guide them through their journey. I'm not necessarily a career coach per se, but it's really like, what do you want to do? And I've heard this company's growing, and many times it's meetings, and my day to day is out and about, which is what I enjoy the most. I'm not much of a sit still person.
Well, thank you for sending yourself to the seat this to chat with me today, because I
I
know.
know. I've told you I wanted to kind of walk around. I walk and talk, but this is great.
Okay, so when people call and say, "Hey, I'm trying to make a transition," what is one of the first things you ask or do?
What have you been doing, and have you liked it? I think a lot of times people do look at a resume and that's what they go off of. I mean, people,
Oh,
whether you've updated it, you can't include everything about yourself in a resume. There's just no way. So when they send a resume to me or talk to me and call, and it's just like, well, what have you been doing up to now? I want to get to know them. What do you like to do? Where do you live? Which area of town? Do you want to be remote? And what interests you? Like, are you ready for something new, or do you want to stay doing what you're doing? And I think you find out a lot about people and just asking those questions. It's just, have you been happy? And do you want to continue that? Because now is the best time to really, if you're going to make a change, it's just there's a whole lot going on, and everybody's making a move if they're ready.
yeah, that's great advice to kind of ask, like, what are you doing and have you been happy? I think one of my recent guests asked me kind of offline. We were chatting after the fact, and she was just like, you know, asking like, are you happy? Are you keeping yourself miserable? Like those are things that people don't think about when they talk about career paths.
Right.
It's like, what is my salary expectation? What kind of hours do I want to work? We don't talk about like the emotional component of it. So I think
Yeah.
it's great that you
Yeah. It's
bring.
like, what do you want in a company? What are you really looking for? And then you've got skills, but you can a lot of times there's so many jobs out there right now that you can tailor it to what you want, and how do you mold that into what your next thing will be. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a company. You can go, there's just all sorts of ideas going right now, and it's really fun. It's a great time right now to be either working but just out there and in it, and knowing and have knowledge of what is possible is really exciting.
Well, what did you want to be when you grew up? I know you've taken this career path. Like, how did you get here a little bit? What
Oh,
did you want to
geez.
be?
I think, what did I want to be when I was, I think my mom said a dentist when I was really, really young. In
Really?
my kindergarten book, that you write, what do you want to be? And that changed a few times. I think I went to teacher, then a gym teacher. But yeah, I read my old scrapbook a while back. I'm like, yeah, that didn't happen. But and then later on, I would say when I was, you go into college, and I went to University of Iowa for my beginning part of school, and I really was interested in sciences. I just like how the body works. I just like the whole idea of the biology of it, and it just interested me. And I knew I didn't really want to be a doctor or a nurse, and I thought I don't have the patience to really go to that many years of school, but I thought chiropractic would be really cool because my parents were always going to the chiropractor or had neck this, back that, and so I thought,
Yeah.
I could do that. And so when I went to Iowa, I enrolled and ended up doing pre-med for a few years. And so you have to take all the sciences, and that was fun and difficult. So I got little partying and some football games, but a lot of studying late nights.
Well, that's
And
nice. You find a little bit of fun.
yeah, you have to in college. So it was super fun, and I lived in the sports dorm, so in the Slater dormitories, and that was super fun because you had every other floor, women, male, and then it was the field hockey, and then we had the football players in there, which was cool.
That's awesome.
But a lot of stories, super fun, and we could just walk over to the football games. But that was what I thought I was going to do. Is I was on this, track to take the sciences, and if it worked out, at least get a 4-year degree or go on to a couple years of chiropractic school, which then I got preliminarily accepted to Palmer. I was going to go to Davenport, and then totally changed my mind one day.
Oh, wow.
So, and I don't know what did it. It could have been a boyfriend. I don't know what was going on at the time, but I just knew something in my gut said, I want to move to Colorado. And there
Oh,
was,
wow.
I think it was a Blues Travelers Red Rocks concert that also helped. I was, and I went to that one and then thought, I really love Colorado. This is cool. And that was a long, long time ago before things changed out here and grew. But anyway, but to answer your question, Uniqua, that was what I thought I was going to do. It's like, oh, I love this med stuff. And then I decided I'm moving, told my parents as an only child, I'm up and going to Colorado. And my
Oh,
parents
what
are
was
bawling,
that?
my dad's bawling in the driveway. And I decided one day I love the mountains, and I'm just going to move here and switch schools. And I applied to University of Colorado at Denver in the business program, and then there you have it. Paid out of state tuition and had to do it myself because they wanted to play hardball, trying to get me to come back.
I mean, you're the only child. Like, that had to be like hard on
Yeah.
the kid. They were like, wait, she
So
can't leave us. Not yet. We thought we had a few more years at least.
I know.
So
So, but anyway, that's when my whole trajectory changed on a whim.
that's awesome, though. You said, look, Colorado is for me. And obviously, you weren't wrong. You're here years later, enjoying yourself. I got a thriving career, beautiful family. Like,
Yeah. So I
it all
switched to business and marketing, and then it took me a little longer to finish because I had changed and had to take all the business prerequisites too. But I loved it, and then lived in Lakewood and moved around, and so various places in Denver, and that's when I traveled the most. Was when, in my early days.
No, that's cool. So what was like your favorite part of traveling?
I think just the newness of well, back then it was easier to go overseas, so I did some overseas travel between, I guess, when I moved around the early college, and went to some really unique places, and got to go do things before you're officially working, or have a very limited vacation schedule
Oh,
at that time.
that's
Yeah.
nice. So you ended up in marketing and business development after college and kind of taking some more prerequisites. What did you wish you knew before you got started on this journey?
Oh gosh, I would say I think like do it, but when you're having kids and family, it's the best thing ever. But I had no idea that I'd ever be a single mom either, and married to work, all those things, the personal things. But
Yeah.
do it when you can. There's no better time. And then who knew with COVID and such that you just don't know when you can't go do those things anymore. And so
Yeah.
if you've been wanting something on your bucket list or to travel or try the new job, it's just time to do it because there just is, you never know when there won't be that time. And so I could travel more now. My kids are getting older. I have 11 and 16-year-old, believe it or not. They're driving, one's driving, the other around.
Wow.
uh, just time flies. And so it's really important to take more risks and get those rewards, and do what, get those mentors, find out, ask questions. There is no wrong answer. It's just what you feel, and take up those hobbies. And back then, I really did go a lot more places like the Arctic Circle and Egypt. I mean, I did all sorts of stuff. And
The
I'm not
Arctic
as
Circle
adventurous.
in Egypt.
Yeah, all in one like 2-week trip back then, and then did Europe. But it was just, I was more adventurous at that time. And then I think as you get older or have more responsibilities, you just take fewer and fewer risks
Yeah.
or have fun. And so, one of those things on my bucket list is, I still need to learn to play the guitar. It's been on my list every single year.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
I
You have
want
like a
to.
song you want to play more than it?
Oh, I love country. I love everything, but I just, even if I learned a few songs, it'd be better than never doing it.
Right.
So
Well, that's exciting. So I'm gonna circle back with you this time next year and see if you've taken up a good
I'm
guitar
gonna.
lessons.
Okay, you're helping me push me over the needle.
Yeah, like
So, but yeah, I think it's just that advice is, also build your network. Really be a friend to people right now. Help where you can, and you never know who will be that person that you later either work with or need, or your kids now. It's just continue to be kind and be good to others, and it comes back. And just that's, no, that's just always the go-to for me. But I think help, and don't just be self-centered as far as like what can I get out of it for me. Just go into it, and you don't know where it will be. You could be sitting at a restaurant and meet somebody. Some of my clients I just randomly met. I have many stories, but I just think, like, out of kindness, and just open yourself up to getting to know others, whether it's online or right now. It's way easier than it was many years ago. You
yes.
don't have to go out and about. Expand things like this that you're doing. They're really great. And I just think you can help others and expand our knowledge and many things.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Like, what is like your favorite networking approach? Do you like intentionally go to specific events or seek out certain organizations? Like, what's your process? Do you have one?
Oh boy. Well, if I'm going to like a luncheon or something, many times I'm like looking and trying to research who's going to be there that I'm going to meet, if that I particularly want to meet, or companies that would be a good partnership for GavinHeath. But then I also end up, just running into other people I know and that they know, and they've moved. But I think I just gravitate to just asking questions when I meet them, like, what brings you here? And, are you part of this group? I wanted to add to part of networking. I'm in Media and Tech Collective. It used to be Rocky Mountain Cable, Association, and the group used to be more cable focused and with communications companies, and now we're expanding to more tech. And in those groups, I'm on the board and help with membership. So I'm really excited and would love to have participation across the country. But I'll tell you all more about that later. And that is one way that we go to a lot of events and have golf tournaments. And I think part of it is just having fun, like socializing and really just having fun with it, and not making it a arduous task or something to go to these things.
No, that
It's
sounds
just
good.
having fun.
Like, do you go out, you're like, I'm open, let me meet people. Like,
Yeah,
it's not like some super mission of like, I missed this person on my checklist, so it's a fail. It's like, look, I'm just here to
yeah.
enjoy
I'm
myself.
here to enjoy myself. And if we follow up after, usually it's those that you connect with, and then you can send a LinkedIn and you may never connect, or you might a couple years after that. But I think, it's what you make of it and how you help each other. And then, research it and ask them what other events are coming up. And it's just really nice to see people in person again. It really is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will say I miss seeing people. It's not the same online.
No.
So we talked about kind of your adventures in switching colleges and moving to Colorado. We talked about your goal. You've completed a lot of really cool bucket list things. You've been to Egypt and the Arctic Circle. You're going to play guitar next. Um,
I'm not going to be on the next
American Idol.
American Idol, but I'll try. Yeah, I'll
Oh,
try to pick a few strings.
nothing wrong with that. I think that sometimes we forget what it means to do things just for the sake of joy and not, money or
Right.
accolades, but just like the quiet and the joy. Like it's so underrated.
It
So
sure
I'm
is.
excited for you. Um, what skills do you think someone needs to have to be in a role similar to yours doing business development?
I think that part is just if it interests you to do reach outs. It's not always. It can be cold calling and there's those days you're emailing and you have to craft an email and come up with the right language. But I think if you're skilled in the skills would be just a connector. I think what makes me a better business development lead for what I'm doing or any company is just building connections and seeing the awareness of you need this, I have this type of person. You want to build your company and it's going to be you want to go to XYZ. Just seeing that and connecting those dots is critical and just seeing and noticing those connections and then doing good follow-ups. And then again, whether you work with them now or later, um, continuing those relationships and being a good, having follow-up that's not just day-to-day entering it in a database. It's more of long-term relationships and how you sustain those is really how you are can be better skilled in that kind of role. And then I
Okay.
think there's just no easy way to say it. I did bring in an intern recently and start a program at GavinHeath for not just women. We're going to expand it, but for young leaders and especially women that are in high school or college, and so they can learn the ropes and kind of not follow me around, but build these skills and what it takes. Now, if you're going into if you want to be a business development person and now you're farther along in your career, might be a little different, but it's still the same as far as go out to these events, seek out the companies you're really passionate about, because if you're really wanting to lead a company and um, expand it, you have to be passionate about it. And so I'm very passionate about helping people in their career. That's why I'm doing this, or I'd be selling widgets and working for one of those startup companies. But why I work for GavinHeath is because I am passionate about that they're women led. I'm passionate about helping people in their careers and finding the right talent and really not just placing somebody in a seat or in a role. It's because they want to be there, and that's what gets me going. So I think on that note, just if you want to get in business development and lead, it's basically like sales, but then work for a company that you really are passionate about because it shows. You'll be successful if you know the company and it's something that or a product or a service that you really personally are passionate about. That's what I would say.
That makes sense. To find things you're truly passionate about.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about your background. We talked about the skills necessary. I'm really excited to hear you started this internship program at GavinHeath for young women in high school and college, and the plans to expand it beyond young women. I think that's super exciting. Keep me posted on how that's going. I'd love to share that with my career
It's
conversations
been
guests.
great. So I brought in a gal. Her name is Grace Hatch. She's a local STEM high school student. So she's in science and technology. She wants to go, and her brother's going to Prague right now studying. And she'd love to go to college in Europe. But the high school actually placed her with us, and they gave a list of schools, and she chose us because she liked the women-owned aspect, as well as just that she didn't know much about recruiting and sales and staffing, and she just wanted to learn. And so she's coming in the office occasionally, also just giving her some things to look, companies to research. And it's been great because it's giving her those tools that when she selects a study or program to go into in college, she'll be better tooled how to write a resume. We helped even create her LinkedIn, which she hadn't done. And I think it starts early. You build those connections. So she's been going to events with me. She went to a bunch of the startup jazz last week, and she had a ball. And then everybody asked, oh my gosh, she's not in high school. Are you kidding? Does she work with you guys? And I said, no, she's been with us like a month.
Oh, wow.
So I just love it. And she's having fun with it. And I hope it gives her it opens her mind to opportunity. And if she wants to get into, whether it's business development or with any company, if she's just getting those tools and skills that many times can start earlier than waiting until you're out there trying to find a job.
This is so true. I'm so glad you're going the extra mile. I feel like I'm having weird audio issues. Let me see. Okay. And so it sounds like she's gotten a lot of really good feedback and like guidance from you and how to like show up to networking events. That's going to be so critical for her going forward. Congratulations and great
Yeah.
work. Is there anything that I have not asked that you'd like to share more about?
Oh, geez. I just think, again, just broaden your mind and just, I want anybody that wants to reach out to me to feel comfortable doing that. And I think expand out of your comfort zone and just get to know people. Whether there doesn't always have to be a reason. I feel a lot of times maybe there's some people that are more introverted, or introverts, and some are more social and extroverts. But no matter what you are and who you are, it's important to get to know other people, and you'll be surprised what you learn. And I think what you're doing, Unica, is just so fascinating and great, because we're going to find out about all sorts of people, and it just opens that door that maybe we wouldn't have met each other, especially because you're in like Florida.
Yeah.
Right. But I would just say, feel free to expand those things. And for me, I think there's just, again, trying to think of anything I haven't said already, but more of take the leap and just don't be afraid if what you've done before is just that's because that's what you've always done and the job description doesn't fit. Reach out, go on LinkedIn and reach out to those hiring managers, and don't be afraid. Send an email or send something saying, I saw a job post. I don't have all the skills. I don't have these top 10, 5 things, or I may not have a degree. But and then I was on a panel recently, and I'll skip forward, but really it was on the panel, there were other staffing folks that had worked for some of these larger companies that are growing. And they said people that send to LinkedIn and a follow-up, even if it's a personal message, they will always call back. They will reach out. And I thought that was really neat and interesting, because many times I think people get really frustrated, or that their resume went into a black hole, or they never heard from anybody. But send the reach out. It may not happen every time, but you'd be surprised. There are a lot of people that don't do that often enough anymore, or send a personal thank you note, like a card in the mail, because we just don't do snail mail anymore. It's just, they'll send something, but it really it makes a difference. And so do those extra things if you're a job hunter, and just don't get frustrated. There's people out here that can help, and make it fun. Just have fun.
I think that's great advice to have fun and to connect with people in a much more direct and intentional way. We've got so many tools at
Yeah,
our disposal. Um, Again, Rachelle, thank you so much for being a part of today's Career
anytime.
Conversations episode. Thank you for just really giving people insight on how career paths aren't always just linear things. And sometimes you think you want to be a chiropractor, but you're much happier being a business developer. Like those things seem so unrelated. But I think one of the things you seem to tap into really early was that you don't like being stuck behind a computer. And that I feel like maybe helped guide you in the direction of like what's next for you. So This is really, really excellent insight and advice.
If
Brittany, I'm
anybody,
sorry.
we have like hundreds of jobs right now, literally on our site. But also connect with me on LinkedIn if there's any, whether you're hunting or you just want to connect. Please like check out at GavinHeath.com, but also on my LinkedIn. It's open. Send me an invite, and we can connect and schedule time, whether it's with my company or you see something and you just might see if I know somebody. I'm glad to help and excited about our journey together.
Yeah, look, she genuinely means that. So make sure you reach out to her.
I really
Guys
do.
have not been on top of the comments today. Hello, Brittany. Thank you so much for joining. Happy Saturday. And Ramsey, thank you for watching. I'm so glad this was a great discussion. I hope that it's helpful to people who are watching it live and people who catch the replay. Sit tight for me for a moment, guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's coming up next for the next few episodes. And then we're going to be back next Saturday at noon. So, Rachelle, thank you so much.
Thanks,
And
everybody. Really
hang
nice
on
to
for a
meet
moment
you.
for me. Oh, hang on for a moment for me. Okay, so again, thank you guys, Brittany. Thank you, Ramsey. Thank you guys for being a part of today's conversation. If you want to get a hold of Rachelle, this is her LinkedIn page. Make the request for the connection now. She is really, really down to earth, really great person to talk to and connect with. So if you got questions or things that you want to talk to her about, if you see roles at Gavin Heath, reach out. Like she's awesome. This is also her email if you were a little bit shy about the LinkedIn connection. So Rachelle Salem at GavinHeath.com. That's her email. I'm also going to give you her phone number. It's phone number 720-582-6349. Again, that's 720-582-6349. And if you were just really kind of curious to poke around to see what you might want to call about before you pick up the phone or email, check out the roles on GavinHeath.com. She said there's hundreds. So take advantage of that. If you guys have enjoyed the show, please please comment, please share, please tell friends. I know you've got friends and family with children that are trying to figure out their career journeys. You've probably got adults trying to figure out what they want to do next. Share career conversations with people. If you think there's going to be somebody that would be an excellent guest or addition to the show, let me know. I'm in the process of planning guests for the first quarter of 2022 already. So reach out, let me know if there's a unique profession or career path. Somebody's got a really great story. I want to hear from you. So in that case, make sure that you reach out to me. You can go to uniquewalcott.com. There's a contact me page. Just send an email. I'll answer you. It's been a pleasure, everybody. Brittany said she was really excited also to hear about this internship program. So again, there's so many things you can learn about here at Career Conversations. It has been great sharing this opportunity with you all, and I'll see you next week. Next week, my guest is Maisha Hagan. She is the owner of Beauty in the Boss LLC. She is actually a career coach for women in male-dominated industries. So if you are looking for a career coach, I'm actually, got a chance to witness her skills firsthand. She's amazing. Make sure that you tune in next Saturday at noon. I'm sure she's going to share ways for you to reach out to her if it's somebody you want to connect with further. So see you guys next Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Love y'all.